Can you see me?
See you now.
Well, it's your loss.
Oh, wow.
Put your makeup on, brother.
Oh, wow.
What's the good of a pandemic if you can go without makeup? Can't go without makeup. No? But it's a good day. Good morning, and I hope everybody's well.
Yes, sir. You too?
I am.
Fantastic.
So we can all hear each other at the same time.
Well, we'll give it a couple more minutes to see if anybody else joins.
I like to let you know in advance I can only stay on for 1 hour, so.
Oh, this won't be an hour.
Okay, great.
So we'll give it 2 more minutes and then we'll start.
You have my fabric on, Adore. I love it.
Thank you.
That is my favorite textile.
Mine too.
Hey, Linda.
How are you? So nice to see you, even if it is virtual. How have you been?
Good.
Are you in Washington now?
Yes, can't get out.
Right. Yeah, the American passport is about as useful as a $12 bill these days.
Oh my God. I think the $12 bill is probably more valuable.
More.
Good morning, Marvin. Hi.
Good morning.
I'm going to just be dark for a minute, but I'll be back.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Okay, it's 11:05. Let me begin. Basically, what we're trying to do today is a more or less an update, wrap-up update. The intention here is to kind of summarize our experiences. What I'm hoping to do is to generate a kind of a summary report that we can share more broadly with members of our constituency who, haven't participated on these calls, just to kind of give them an overview of some of our experiences, trials, tribulations, successes, failures, et cetera, et cetera. Obviously, this is the new normal, but it's just not normal. We're going to have to, kind of navigate through this to figure out, how to conduct business that is adapted to our product, our personality, our lifestyle, our schedules. Fortunately, you know, there are a lot of tools, a lot of platforms available. The challenge is, you know, kind of each one of them has a bit of a learning curve, and it takes a moment to find your sweet spot in all of that, you know. So just, you know, kind of to review, you know, we've experienced, I think, Facebook Live. Several folks have worked with that. It's kind of easy to do. I mean, you know, functionally, it's kind of easy to generate, click, 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 and you're live. The challenge is making that presentation productive, reaching an audience that will attend, and, you know, really generating sales out of it. I don't know if everybody's seen kind of, I think AJ has populated it consistently. Lavale from Bambula is on quite a bit. Poncho is on quite a bit. Greta, I'm trying to think, and Jimmy King. You know, everybody I think has done a bit of that. So, you know, if you go to their Facebook pages, I think all of those, their YouTube live presentations are kind of archived on their pages. If you want to take a look, you know, Koso and I have done a couple of them, you know, with varying degrees of success. We initially did one in connection with Zawadi, the retailer on U Street in DC. You know, I guess, challenge, you know, with Facebook Live is it's kind of a performance project. You know, you kind of have to be animated and live and showing and talking and da 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 da. And that's definitely not my strong suit. You know, Post was much better at that. So, you know, that's been her. One thing we did do on this last Facebook Live is create a slideshow. And the slideshow was a list of products that were being featured. And on each slide, there was the product, a number, and the price. So part of the Facebook Live presentation was showing the slideshow and then using that as kind of the talking points to go through it. The advantage to that is that after the Facebook Live, we were able to email that slideshow to our client base and generate additional sales from people who missed the Facebook Live but just looked at the slideshow. So it's kind of like, oh, wow, I missed the Facebook Live. Oh, now I can look at the slideshow, thanks. And so it generated several sales, you know, after that. Plus that slideshow, because it's only, you know, maybe 3-4 minutes, is a lot more digestible than an hour-long Facebook Live presentation. So, you know, just kind of a hint or a suggestion to folks. I think Shimoda and Laura are doing a Facebook Live. When is it? This Sunday? Or?
Hello, it's this Sunday from 1 to 2.
Okay.
And it'll be our first one. And we'll be using the StreamYard like how you did. So we could post pictures. Shows like a slideshow.
Okay. So, you know, that's, I guess, Shimoda turned me on to this streaming platform, StreamYard, which we used this last time, which has several, you know, interesting features, allowing you to split the screen by inviting another guest. So you're able to have 2 people on at the same time. It does allow screen sharing, so we're able to toggle from our faces back to the slideshow, back and forth. So it's something, an additional way to make the presentation that you might consider. It's StreamYard.com. There's a free feature as well as some paid options, but I would strongly recommend you looking at it if Facebook Live is your preferred platform. Shimoda, did you have any questions about Facebook Live before we move on?
Well, do we have any questions? I mean, I was watching yours, I watched some other people's, so taking notes, and I know I'm going to do like something quick so I can see what it's about before actually doing the Facebook Live on Sunday, and using StreamYard, because we haven't used it before, but I've watched other people that have done it. And so I'm going to do a test. Laura and I are going to do a test, I should say. Yeah.
Hey, Laura.
Hey!
What's for breakfast?
Oatmeal. My stomach thinks it's saying it need oatmeal. I don't know. Just try to listen to the body. Just trying to listen to the body.
Okay, so again, that's kind
Marvin,
of
Marvin, I did watch your sale that you had the last time, and you did use the StreamYard, and I noticed that you had in the beginning some difficulties, and what was that about?
I did a test on StreamYard earlier in the day, and when I concluded the test, it deleted that StreamYard that I had scheduled. So I'm thinking that it's still there and I can just go back there and open it back up, but it wasn't there. So, a few minutes before we were supposed to go live, I had to create a whole new one, link it to Facebook, link it to YouTube, and go through those kinds of procedures. We were trying to do the split screen, so I had to send out the link to Raja so he could get on with his eye. So I didn't realize that once you closed it out, it was gone, and then you had to start all over again. So that was the challenge, rushing at the last minute. I thought it was up and ready, and you just click back on and go back into it like a Zoom.
Also, it automatically publishes itself after a certain amount of minutes. So when you're trying to schedule it in advance, it needs to be, and I can't recall directly for whatever the reason, but it needs to be like, if you schedule it and you don't go on within 25 minutes or 15-20 minutes within the scheduled time. So I think we had scheduled one for 11 or for 5:30, thinking we would get on early, and we weren't able to get on until maybe 5:50, and it unpublishes itself if you don't start the StreamYard within I think 15 minutes of the actual scheduled time. So you just want to keep that in mind when you're scheduling in advance, and especially if you're sending out the links, because if it unpublishes and you email people those links, then they won't be valid anymore.
So the thing with StreamYard also is that it can publish to Facebook and to YouTube. So that's advantageous because a lot of people, are not on Facebook, but have some issues with it or never joined. So they can, watch you on YouTube even if they don't have a Facebook account. So that's another advantage of StreamYard. If you're using the YouTube, you need to create, if you haven't already done it, your own channel on YouTube where your videos will be hosted. And, that's where they can see that at. So again, like I said, Facebook Live has its advantages. A lot of our customers are on Facebook. It's more familiar than other platforms. But like I say, for me, the challenge was, presentation, The other thing with Facebook Live, I would suggest, is that you front load your presentation with your featured items. Because people's attention span is not always, you know, half an hour, 15 minutes, you know, whatever it is these days. I know it's hard for me to sit still and watch something for half an hour. So I can imagine, you know, other folks will have that challenge.
It's like display in the store.
Yeah, so, you know, if you start, you know, with your introduction, your name, how they can contact you, and show 3-4 things that you want to feature, and then move into something, a more lengthy explanation, because on Facebook, you know, your live will be available on your page after it's finished, so people can go back and look at it. But again, they're not going to look at a half an hour or an hour presentation, but they'll look at 5 or 10 minutes maybe, especially if it's engaging, if it's something that will attract their attention. So, you know, these are just some strategies, you know, I'm just suggesting, if you're going to do Facebook Live, make the opening few minutes impactful, and in a way that people can see something that they can respond to, you know. The other thing with Facebook Live is communicating, you know, how people are going to pay you. You know, initially we printed up signs that we would just hold up with our Instagram and Facebook and email and phone number, that kind of thing. If you're doing a slideshow, you can embed the contact information in the slideshow, beginning, middle, end, or wherever. But be mindful that people will need a way to contact you if they want to make a purchase, you know. The other thing with Facebook Live is, you know, you're fielding comments.
Oh.
So, you know, being able to respond to the comments, people like their name being called out. Hey, Sonia, how you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for joining, da-da-da-da. So somebody needs to be doing that while somebody is making the presentation. So like I said, it gets to be kind of layered and complicated, but acknowledging those comments is very important, I think. You know. Anybody have anything else to say about Facebook Live?
I have a question
Yes.
for you or Raja, since you've used it also. With the link, since you're doing Facebook Live, it's actually people going to your Facebook page, right? So, or do they need a separate link because?
No, it goes right to your Facebook page. So make sure that, because I know you have 2 different pages, so make sure you identify in your promotion which page it's on. You know, we messed that up one time, so it was confusing, but yeah, clear about that. And also, you know, just on the day of, maybe an hour before, you know, send out another reminder, because, you know, email stuff, you know, gets buried over the days, so something right there. Text also, you know, the reminder, so that people have it right there in front of them, and oh yeah. So, you know.
Yeah, I already have that planned out.
Okay, cool. Facebook Live, any other issues, questions, comments? Like I say, try it. You know, it's trial and error. You know, and it's never going to go perfect. it's always. But the thing with the glitches is laugh at yourself. Don't get flustered. You know.
Yeah. So
like, you know, people will enjoy, you know, you goofing up. You're gonna goof up. It's like it's no way. So just keep that in mind. Don't take it. It's not that deep. It's not that serious.
But hey, life is life.
Luther.
My brother.
Yes, sir.
Hey, the homegoing for Marvin was great.
I didn't go home yet.
What's the name? What's the man's name?
Please disregard that prediction.
we all go home at some time. I'm looking at you saying Marvin for Bernard. Bernard, the memorial was great for Bernard. I was on
Yeah,
it.
it was really nice.
Yeah, it was good. That was good. I'll let y'all get back at it.
You didn't bring
Facebook going once, going twice. Okay, the next is Zoom. Zoom presentations, Zoom meetings, Zoom like we're doing now. So we've also, tried Zoom. The advantage of Zoom, I think, is that you're conversing with your customers. And they see you, they see other people, so you're able to kind of generate that energy of, oh wow, that wow factor energy of people like, oh, I want that, look at that, look at that, look at that. So Akoswa did a couple of Zooms, maybe 2-3 weeks ago, to her LA audience, a targeted segment. One was to a book club that invited her in. The next was selected customers from Los Angeles. And that was very effective. One, they enjoyed seeing each other because everybody's on lockdown, but it enabled, it almost replicated an in-person show experience for her, and the people were like adding things to their plate and, oh, I want this one, give me this one, give me that, and just the communication back and forth enabled increased sales.
Exactly.
While you were engaging with people rather than showing one thing and this and figuring out who, and also being clear about who wanted what, and oops, that was gone, but I can make one for you, making that note. So it was more conversant, more personal, and more manageable. The challenge is, you can only handle so many people realistically, but if you can, do a few of those with, a targeted audience with an RSVP, so that people are signed in or are committed to join, give it a theme, make it fun. And if you can get, 5 to 10 people, that really works. When we did the event or the experience connection with Zawadi, we did Zoom and we did Facebook Live. And the Zoom presentation yielded more sales. I don't know if that was because it was first, but we have had a very good experience with Zoom for that reason. Because
Marvin,
yeah.
this is Tony. Can I interject for a minute?
Please.
I'm sorry. I think one of the reasons that it did well for Zawadi and for you is that it was on a Saturday. So it's also an interesting kind of thing. I think the Zoom was on a Saturday and the Facebook was on a Sunday.
Right.
So at least from retail perspective, Saturday is a better day. So that's one to think about. And then I would like to add, Zoom would be so wonderful for something like what you sell, because you can do, it's like personalized shopping. If you can get Zoom groups together, that people like some of your loyal consumers to do like a Zoom group of their own friends and families or whatever they've got going on. And it's like, oh, let's have a Marvin Sin party, and it's like personalized shopping. Yeah. So that's kind of, I think that's one of the beauties of Zoom, as you said, that you can personalize it because you're talking and you're interacting with people. It's not just a one-way communication like Facebook Live is to an extent. So that's one thing. And then I just wanted to add, when you were talking back about Facebook, one of the things that everybody thinks, everybody, we have to use these new items. We have to use everything, Facebook, Instagram, all that, IG. But sometimes old school really, really, really works. And we found, like with Zawadi, what we've done is everybody who's come on our website, we split them up between the people that are new people and the people that are already loyal consumers. And Irene, the owner of Zawadi, literally wrote a separate email, not like a standard newsletter, a separate email thanking all the new people coming on the website, appreciating their business, telling them that, you know, these are some new items that are coming down the pipe once we can get the items off of, you know, from Ghana and blah, 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 blah. You know, like she literally, so sometimes, and she got a great response from that because it's about, you know, it's not only about your loyal consumers, you know, your loyal base is always going to keep coming back to you, but it's about trying to get new consumers. Now, it's very time consuming. It's very time consuming to do that, you know, but sometimes I think the old school ways of communicating with people works just as well.
Excellent point. Yeah.
Very good.
So like I say, you know, you can have a Zoom account, a free Zoom account. I think you can have up to 10 participants. I think the only challenge is that there's like a 40-minute time limit on the presentation. But, you know, definitely give it a try. Like I said, when I began selling my work, the most lucrative event was the house party, by far. I mean, it was like, you know, if it's 5, 6, 7 people in somebody's living room where you're talking to them and everybody's having a good time, far exceeded a festival where there were 10,000 people. It's totally different. Plus, those customers are perpetual. Once you've met them and engaged with them and now they know you now, you know, you've got them for life. And those people have stayed with me for 20, 30 years, just based on that first encounter in somebody's living room. So, you know, I hardly endorse that perspective of Zoom. Small party, you can get a friend of yours to host it, you know, give them some incentive and, you know, try it. Like I said, it's definitely something I'm going to be looking into, but I definitely prefer Zoom to Facebook because I can see people, I can see their expressions, you know, we can chat and laugh and stuff like that. And, you know, Facebook, I'm just talking to a screen and I have no idea who's there. You know, the only people you know who are there are the people who make comments. But, you know, we review it and there were like 300 people looking at the Facebook Live at some point in time, but I don't know who they were. You know, I don't know what they saw, what they thought about it, you know. But like I say, Zoom is more of a captive audience. So, you know, that's the other thing. So any other questions about Zoom? Okay, a couple of folks have recommended, and I'm just starting to look at this. In fact, I responded to a Facebook ad about TikTok. So apparently TikTok is designing or premiering an element of their platform that is about selling through their, you know, their environment. I don't know what it is yet, you know, but a couple of folks have highly recommended TikTok. So, you know, it's something else to look at, and, you know, so I think this is called TikTok for Business or something like that. So, you know, Google it, and, you know, look at it and see, you know, I'm just starting the TikTok. People are starting to send me TikTok links. So I'm looking at it and trying to figure out what it is. It is another platform. You know, speaking of old school, you know, before we move on, of my maybe 5,000 person customer base, probably I have email addresses for only a third of them. You know, our format in the past has always been direct postcard mailing to promote and advertise shows. And that's kind of the system we've built. So now I'm going to have to create a postcard mail to people to kind of invite them into the new environments that we're functioning out of, because like I said, we don't even have their email addresses, if they have email addresses. But just to let them know how to reach us now, that we're still alive, we're still around, we still appreciate their engagement, but this is how you find me now. So that they have something in their hand they can put on the refrigerator and keep referring to. People, you know, some people, that's important because a lot of this digital media is ephemeral. It's there, but then it goes away because it's replaced by something else. So if you're not reacting to it right then, you know, you might lose that. So speaking of old school, that's another old school thing we might consider: direct mail to segments of your audience to let them know you're still here, how to reach you, especially if you have a Zoom or a Facebook Live thing coming up in a couple of weeks, 2-3 weeks, and then you can, you know, send me your email address, send me your link, friend me on Facebook, and whatever it takes to make the connection with those people.
Marvin, here's one thing I'd like to point out. One of the things I'd like to do is to, you know, when somebody's having a show and I see it on my Facebook page, I will certainly post it, you know, so that other people become aware of it. Just trying to hype it up so that more people will attend. But if nothing is there to kind of remind me or for me to share,
Right.
then there's nothing that I can, you know, I need something to jog my memory as well as something to put out to jog other people to go to the show. And so I know you're busy before a show. There are a million things on your plate that you got to do and get ready. But it might have something that you can just repost before showtime, so that the other people who just want to help you out with your attendance, something we can have to just forward to other people. So keep that in mind, that there are people looking to help out from the wings, from the shadows. So
Good point. Good point. So
That's
on
a great
the,
point.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I was going to say that's a great point. I
Right.
also wanted to add, Marvin, that when you capture those names or those emails, don't also, it also would be really great to capture the cell phones.
Cell
right?
phone, yes, yes.
Because there's a whole nother avenue of texting. You can text people and remind people of what's going on. And there's, you know, advertising through text. So, you know, it's all about just getting information about your user to try to understand how do they want to be communicated to,
Yes.
right? All right,
So the a larger point here is that you know, we're entering into a new universe. It's new for us, but we're like at least a decade behind. And a decade in the tech environment is like 100 years in real life. So, you know, this is going to take some effort. I mean, and some study, some collaboration, and please don't think you can do this by yourself. You know, we're up against, you know, multi-billion-dollar corporations who occupy the space that we're stepping into in terms of competing for people's online time, loyalty, and patronage. So we're gonna have to come up with devices, schemes, shortcuts, hustles, whatever. We need to bring our street smarts to this environment in order to make it work for us, because, you know, in this world, you can't get on the end of the line. We're gonna have to find some way to cut into the line, or because, like I say, I don't know. Someone shared with me that in this era of, you know, Black Lives Matter, a conversation about reparations, that some white person, a white influencer, took it upon themselves to recommend to their audience that they patronize, I think it was bookstores, Black bookstores, to buy a certain books that were out and popular.
Books.
And in response to that, 2 or 3 of those stores reported that in 2 weeks, their sales exceeded the previous year. So part of the reparations conversation needs to be us pushing white people to buy black, okay? And to patronize us like we've been patronizing them. So, you know, from our perspective as artists, as creatives, we need to insert that into the political conversation. Is that if Black lives really matter, you know, or if you want to, because they ask you, well, what do you want me to do? Okay, well, here's something for you to do. You know, beyond that, we need to find ways to keep the conversation about culture, about sustaining small businesses, about the supply chain that we're a part of, that is critical, that needs to be sustained in this environment, part of the conversation. If you take a Zawadi, the products that they sell, you know, sustain dozens of enterprises, hundreds of workers around the world. And, you know, to us, you know, spending $10 or $15 on an item, that's a small thing. But in Rwanda, in Uganda, in Kenya, their share of that $10, you know, is food for 2-3 days. That's the supply chain, you know, that we're a part of. You know, we look at other people's supply chains and, you know, it's this super technical thing, but we have them also. The people we buy our supplies from, the businesses that we patronize to stay in business, whether they're advertising, accountants, lawyers, whatever. We are a part of an economic engine that is vital to our community. And our community needs to know that, we need to know that, and we need to reinforce that as well.
Mark, would you mind if I make a point or make a statement, I suppose?
No, go right ahead.
So I'm new, my name's Rukia, and I'm currently in Texas, and I am looking to get started in the area of entrepreneurship, specifically a love and passion for textiles. And I think what comes to my mind, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, because I know all of you are more seasoned at this than I am. So these are just a few thoughts that have come to my mind that I would like to get corrected on if need be. Like when I think about going into an industry or a market, the first thing that comes to me is to see where am I currently based upon my resources, based upon the opportunities, my strengths and weaknesses to enter into an industry. So I have an industry choice, but where I get into the market, and in response to your question, how do you get into this thing when it comes to the tech? I identify a company that's similar to mine and that's viable, that's doing very well, and use their format as my best practice. So it's almost like I look at the company, how I research that company, I get the numbers of their profit, I study the company inside out. I look at their website presentation. I look at how they advertise, how they promote, how they got everything set up, everything. I research it inside out. And I use that as my template for my best practice for at this point in time. So since everything is about systems and being systematically, you know, having a process that's going to not necessarily need me to baby it, that may be semi-automatic, but still personal, that's responsive, that's efficient, that's cost efficient, I go ahead and I duplicate what I can use from that best practice. Does that have any common sense element to it?
Total, no question.
So for example, like, I don't know if each and every person on this call is operating independently or if you're working together as a collective, but if you're working together as a collective and you look at what you have as a unit, then at that point, I would probably develop a brand. I would actually look at identifying how I want to brand my company or my unit, my collaborative. So for example, when you talked about there was the Zawadi, okay, and you said that Zawadi had so many arms, there's so many people connected to it. The cottage industry, certain types of images, along with the events of sales, would probably be something I would consider, only because I want to have the ability to have a personal memory blueprint in the minds of my consumer. So when I thought about Pier 1, when it first came out, I don't even know if Pier 1 was national, but I know Pier 1, when it first came out, it had a certain presentation, brand, image, and only certain people would go there. But then people would go there if they wanted certain things because they knew automatically, based upon this brand image, what it sold or what they could possibly find there. It's like, you know, if I want a certain thing, I know if I go there, because of how they've already impressed upon my mind their collection, that's the place to go. And so
yeah, let me stop you there. Totally affirming, you know, your observation. I think there are two important things that you raise. One is, you know, research, observation, adaptation of similar companies or businesses that are marketing and operating, doing what we're doing or similar to what we're doing, and just patterning, you know, if it's our promotion, if it's our look, if it's our presentation, marketing strategy, something out of that. In terms of the branding, you know, there's something that we are considering that's in operation. That is part of kind of building this collective process through the NUANCE umbrella as a way to allow people to find all of us. I mean, we are all kind of in cultural product universe, you know, for one of a more specific language, but there are other descriptives that you know, clarify that. But the idea is to create portals that have a specific brand identity, image, context, cultural identity, so that people, when they're looking for something like what we have, they'll know to look through us to get to it. And through that portal, they can find us. But right now, we're kind of invisible. And so we are attempting to do that. Most of us have been in business for quite a while. And our challenge now is digital conversion. So we already have brands, we already have customer bases, we already have products that are developed and tested and proven. Our challenge specifically is inserting our business models into a digital environment. so that we can continue to conduct the business we've already conducted and elevate it, improve it, using the technology to reach new audiences, streamline our supply chain, and collaborate with each other.
You would prefer to do that, but I take it you also have website presentation, correct?
Correct.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah. So all of it.
And Marvin, if I might be allowed to speak on those not so famous people that are part of this collective, there might be some way, or for instance, a lot of organizations will have a sponsors page where people put their ID or logo and just some image of that represents the company, so that people, after they've been to a show or they see that the show might be coming up, someplace they can go just to look and get reaffirmed that there's a identity to this company that's associated with the nuance goals and whatnot. So I understand it's something that's in progress, but just like it says, on behalf of the not so famous, if we could have something that just kind of includes us in the group, or a way for people to reaffirm that we're part of this group in between any show or any posting that we're putting out, or they know that they can come to Nuance and find out about other organizations that fit the bill.
Absolutely important. Yes, yes, yes. I'm trying to keep mindful of the time. The last point that I wanted to make was the holidays are coming up. And I'm hoping that we can target this holiday season to make a major online impact collectively. That is to establish a large enough footprint in the online universe so that people will look towards us to see what is available through us for gift giving or just holiday shopping in general. The NUANCE umbrella should be ready by then. That would host everybody's website. Beyond that, it's up to you to be ready to sell, to promote, to present in whatever way is, advantageous to you. We are conceptualizing a Make Black Friday Black promotion that just takes advantage of all the other energy that's going to be generated around Black Friday anyway, but just kind of inserting us as a collective into that conversation, so that, whenever anybody says Black Friday, they automatically will also think about, well, hey, what about Black people? What about the Black businesses? What about, spending some money with us, and then making it easy for them to find us and easy for us to do business with them. Now, in order to do that, we have to be prepared in specific ways, e-commerce ready. So even if it is not what you regularly do, you should have 100 of something on a shelf somewhere, packaged and ready to ship. In addition to whatever else you're doing, you should have something that you can sell online in quantity, ready and available, on a shelf, so that when you get that order, all you need to do is put it in a package, stick the label, and take it to the post office. Not something you need to print, make, sew, paint, and what we are going to attempt to do is generate sufficient business for everybody that whatever it is that you've created, you're going to sell out of. And like I said, that's going to be step number one. Black Friday is just the entree into the digital shopping season, which this year will obviously be larger than anything anybody imagines. Every year for the last several years, online shopping, online retail has increased 10 to 15% every year. This year, that increase is definitely going to be in the 20s, if not 30%, because the stores are closed. People are not going out to these malls, lining up, rushing into anybody to get anything. If they're going to buy something, 80% of the selling is going to be online, and we need to be prepared. I'm working now, stacking inventory for the holidays, and I think we should all be considering that, you know, something. So you have enough time now to put something in work, to have something, you know, an item that you're selling, preferably under $100, that's tested, is proven, that you know people like, so that you have the promotion ready for it, the sales channels ready for it. And we will do what we can to point spotlights at you. Think about little advertising videos, 20 or 30 second little videos talking about your product or featuring those items, that item or those items that are also available. Like I said, we got to get smart, we got to get busy, we got to get strong in this environment. Because like I said, the ways we've been doing business are no longer available. And, you know, we need to be hitting this very, very hard if we're going to sustain ourselves. Because this lane is about to get really, really, really crowded. Because people have no other option. With the unemployment, the stores closed, with people locked down, you know, this is the go-to environment. And unless we can make a loud noise, we're gonna get swallowed up in this tidal wave. So, you know, that's kind of a word to the wise. As I said, I'm gonna try to generate a report to send out to the constituency to share some of the things we've experienced, and hopefully get more folks focused on, you know, being ready for the holiday rush, because it's coming. We need to be there.
Marvin, can I ask a question? I don't know if I've missed maybe some meetings, but can you just explain very quickly, like the NUANCE umbrella, like what that entails, and what's the expectation of the people who are on this Zoom and the other people in the NUANCE umbrella?
NUANCE is really a representation of a project that emanated out of IBMEC years ago, and we created a group called ASHE, the Alliance of African Cultural Enterprises.
Okay.
NUANCE is simply the New African network of cultural enterprises. And essentially what we are attempting to do is aggregate and connect those people in our community who have embraced culture in its many manifestations, to build out of them a kind of a cohesive community. We're already in a community. Okay, we already, you know, we know each other, we're kind of halfway friends. We're just not networked to do business with each other, communicate with each other systematically. And a lot of our energy is external. You know, even though we have this cohesive community and world amongst us, we're looking out at the rest of the world, trying to convince them to do what we're doing. And we have 100,000 people who could be on this call. Well, with 100,000 people, you can reach the entire world in a week with a message. So, I mean, I think we've missed the opportunity we've already created. So NUANCE is simply a system of connecting the constituencies that are already culturally linked.
Right. Okay.
You know, through an online platform. For our constituency, it will be like a shopping mall. This, for us, will be a shopping mall that will simply situate each of our enterprises, whether you have a website, whether you, however you're doing business, a way for people to come into this environment and find us by category, by whatever. So that's being developed. We have a company in Ghana that's designing that platform now. And it should be, you know, available in about a month or so for us to like look at and test out.
Okay, all right, cool.
So that's the nuance piece. So the framework is being created. What we've been doing is like testing out the immediacy of how we're going to survive and sustain ourselves going forward so that we can share this with other folks so that no matter which platform you're on, there are certain things you're going to need to do to be e-commerce ready. You know, you got to be able to describe, photograph your product, describe your product, weigh it, ship it, etc. So if everybody is able to do that on a consistent basis, you know, we've tried to establish the norm so that if you get an order, you know, and thank you, Tony and Irene, for insisting, it ships the next day. You know, don't wait around, you know. And so when people see that, you know, that next day, you know, for us, Roger sends out an email. I got to the post office. I take a picture of that receipt. He sends out an email to let people know the package is coming. This is the tracking number. Thank you for your purchase. You know, boom, boom, boom. So one of the concerns with people doing business with Black business are, you know, they don't ever do this or they don't ever do that. So customer service is really critical. In terms of the product, our products are pristine. There's nobody has any question with that. What we have to do is get over the apprehension, spoken or unspoken, that people have with doing business with Black people, so that it's not just a good experience, it's the best experience. Oh, wow, I really appreciate that, the way they handle it. And when I got it, it was better than I expected. And then I got a follow-up letter, whatever it takes, you know. We need to be the best at this of anybody. That's been the mantra of survival while Black in America. You got to be better. You know, we create better. Our image, our energy, our spirit is better. We need to translate that same energy into our business practices so that people have no complaints. When they come to us, no complaints.
All right, thank you. I didn't understand the whole the whole umbrella piece of it. Yes. So thank you. I appreciate that.
Marvin, I want to thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of this call. I'm going to have to leave right now, though. So if any ideas come to my mind, or if it's okay, I'll reach out to you, ask questions, or just follow up. Is that all right with you?
Absolutely. And Rukia, I wanted to connect you with Brenda. I think I spoke to you, but you mentioned her fabric. But she's the one I spoke to you about, who travels to the continent sourcing, you know, African fabric directly from the fabric creators in a number of different countries. So she could be, you know, a good resource as you do your research and your, you know.
Okay, Brenda, nice to meet you. My name is Rukia. And if there's any way I can reach out to you, is there a possibility I can get your number and information from Marvin?
Yes.
In the email that I sent, everybody's email address should be visible in there. And Brenda is Damali African Wear, I believe.
Damali African Wear?
Yeah.
It's spelled with a K. But just take my phone number. It's better. Okay?
Okay. All right. Can you repeat that for me one more time? 202-758-5938. Is that 5938?
Yes.
Okay, I have 202-758-5938.
Yes, we'll be happy to
Oh.
talk with you, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. And everyone take care, and thank you so much for letting me be a part.
No problem.
Okay,
Sure.
bye-bye.
Before we sign off, anybody else have any questions, any comments? You know, I'd like to thank everybody for taking the time. This has been really helpful. I mean, to me, hope it's been helpful to others. Alex.
Hey, how you doing?
What's going on, good brother?
Doing good. I'm doing fine. Hope everybody's safe.
Yeah, so far so good. Any closing remarks? Final thoughts?
Marvin,
Yes.
you have a Facebook group. I know you said that you couldn't use my business account, but I did email you my personal.
I tried to put that in, you know, it didn't take, I'll try it again though. But yes, the NUANCE Connected, NUANCE Connected is the Facebook group.
Okay, it's connected. Okay, I'll look for it.
Yeah, so I don't know why, you know, I tried to type in
Shimoda Donna Emmanuel.
Shimoda Donna Emmanuel, it didn't work. Maybe I spelled Emmanuel wrong, I don't know.
Okay,
But I'll keep trying,
look.
I'll keep trying, yeah. But anyway, the videos of the Zoom calls that we have are posted in that group also. So if anybody ever wanted to go back and look at something that's there, and I'll certainly share that in the letter that I sent out to the rest of the constituency.
Thank you. Thank you for the work you're doing to pull us all together, to keep us all together.
My pleasure, my pleasure.
Yeah, I just had one thing I wanted to say, Marvin.
Yeah, babe.
Well, I didn't know all that was going on because I'm just getting privy to this during this Zoom meeting, and I'm thinking from me myself, my biggest challenge will be to be ready for the success of this venture, because you know that having 100 of something, that's a mouthful, you know, just to say get it done. So and also, you know, and I you know, and I'm glad I didn't ask the question before, because the description of what you're describing was what I was going to ask what's going on, and there it is. That's what this is about.
So, you know, make it easy on yourself, Laura. You have the cards, you have some.
Oh no, yes, definitely. But you know what? Just knowing, you know, just the standard you just set.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even have to think about it. I could just do just what you said.
There you go. So like I said, make it easy on yourself. Don't try to go into a whole hoopla, but just have something.
Right. And your platform running and all of that.
Platform running, I mean, your website, however you're going to sell, have that ready. It doesn't take a whole lot. You don't have to do the whole universe, the store. Just have something or some things that are ready to go, so that when people click on, they can look and see what that is, purchase it, and it's in the wind.
Yes.
But again, you know, we will do our best to promote you as a brand, give all the flowery language about how great you are, because you are great. I mean, we're not making anything up. Everybody who is here is, you know, more than worthy of all the business, you know, that we can generate, or anybody can generate. That's not the issue, because I tell people all the time, they sell cigarettes in America. Now, if they can sell cigarettes and make billions of dollars, you can't tell me nothing. Okay. I know how hard everybody works to do what they do. I know the love and spirit that we put into it, and that is value added. You know, we just need to name it and claim it, so that people know that this is not stuff. This is art created with love. You know, and that makes it important and worthy of attention, notice, respect, and patronage. So we're trying to, you know, shift the paradigm in terms of, you know, what's what. Because I'm so tired of stuff coming out of China. It's like every day something breaks. It's like, I mean, give me a break. Everything, every day, some piece of crap, you know, that used to be you know, something. Now it's just garbage, you know. And here we are toiling to create something of substance, and we're being crowded out of, you know. So enough of that. Enough is enough. That's what they say, right?
So is Nuance going to have a particular membership to it?
Invitational, you know, everybody anybody is in. I mean, we're, you know, the way the platform will work when it's working is that sales that you make, it will be designed so that it will track sales that we generate for you. And, you know, just like Amazon or anybody, you know, a couple of percentages out of that go into the platform to sustain it. You know, it's just, you know, so we're going to be building it so that it will generate business for you. And from that business, it will capture a small piece of that transaction. And over time, hopefully that will, you know, amount to enough to employ some more people to build it out, to make it more robust, to extend it into other countries, to connect the supply chain, you know, more broadly. So that's, you know, that's the idea that's working. So initially, I'm sorry.
I was also thinking that on your, you know, anybody who participates, if they even on any of their entities online, a little statement saying a proud member of so and so, and then that icon links back to that platform. So on your own web stuff, you're acknowledging the fact that you're part of this greater group of makers.
Excellent point. In fact, one of the customers, I don't know if you know Brenda Troy in Ohio, you know, made a comment on Facebook just about, you know, the need for standards of operation in the Black business environment, just so that, you know, there's a certain level, a certain standard of operation that people can expect when they're dealing with us. And hopefully that icon or that association is a certification that this person, this enterprise, you know, is of a certain, you know, standard and ethic. Like when IBMEC was functioning, you know, they vetted the businesses that could participate. So it's not just that it was Black owned, has to be Black operated, and there had to be a certain ethical framework in the business. So it's not just hustlers or rip-off artists. So yes, it's a great point. So in network, you know, we need to promote each other. You know, we need to collaborate with each other. Like I went to a site, I think that Warren turned me on to, a brother who does his tech. And he was demonstrating this kalimba that he sold, but then he put a video on the site of somebody playing the kalimba, and the sales, he sold out, you know, in a couple of days. And I looked at it, and the kalimba was from Zawadi. So it's like, okay. So, you know, that kind of, so that kalimba was on his site, and he was selling it for Zawadi. And obviously just getting a little piece out of that, but, you know, so that's what we need to be doing. You know, collaborating, connecting our products with each other, doing little group presentations, shows. I mean, just every which way that we can twist this thing, we need to do it. And everybody, I mean, you are the smartest people I know. It shows in what you create. You also need to be now thinking of, how do we make this work? You know, I'm trying to put some energy onto it, but, you know, brilliant minds need to be processing this you know, as you're eating your oatmeal, just how is this, you know, oh wow, we should try this. Oh wow, well, you know, once you get on the track, I know, you know, Adrian, I know once you get your teeth into it, you know, you got 100 ideas. Write them down. Let's try it. Let's try it. Let's say everything.
I know I'm moving very slowly, but I am on the move. Okay. So, but, you know, I mean, I have a certain level of fear in my heart about launching.
Yeah, yeah.
So, you know, watching everybody else, I'm saying, well, if they could do it, I could do it. You know, but I'm moving. I am moving. Okay.
You know, so, you know, launch websites, you know, we have expertise in Shopify and in Wix and in Etsy within the group. So apparently it doesn't matter what platform you're on, whatever is easiest for you, whatever, if you know somebody who's on one, that's probably the easiest one to get on, because any question you have, they can answer it. I'm trying to think. But as I said, within the group, you know, there are people like Ella Isaacs, kind of is on top of Shopify. AJ Aaron from Unities is on top of Wix. You know, and I think a couple of folks do Etsy. So any platform that you're comfortable with, it doesn't matter. The same information, your product, the description, the price, the weight, how you're shipping is standard. It's the same thing for all of them. And that's all we're gonna need, you know, to integrate you into a larger system.
Thank you, Mark.
Oh, you're welcome. Any last words? Okay. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Marvin.
Thank
All right,
you.
take care, everybody.
Everybody
Bye-bye.
take care.
Good to see
Bye-bye.
everybody. Okay now.